And floor exercise is a place where the female gymnast can really make her mark. You can express your tumbling abilities as well as your dance abilities, and it gives us a chance to really express ourselves. I'm honored again to introduce and also to meet her again, who I've competed against many times, my friend from the beautiful city of Leningrad, Elena Shushanova.
Elena Shushanova, you saw her on the uneven bars earlier, and now this floor exercise.
She's the reigning 1987 world champion on this event. This is the best in the world. First tumbling. Very high double back salto.
I would imagine, Peter, when they nail that first one as well as she did, it just has to give them a great lift. They really get on with it.
Oh, it's incredible. It's that boost. You're so nervous because usually your most difficult tumbling pass is the first one. And when we make it through, I can remember landing one perfectly in competitions and then just getting all this extra energy to finish that routine.
Yeah.
Really get you going. Round off back handspring. High straddle side 1 3/4 dive roll. That's an event that very few women do. Tumbling off of her knees. This is just really great routine.
Elena is 18 years of age. She's 5 feet tall, weighs 90 pounds.
Her last tumbling pass. Round off back handspring. Just a layout. Not something that she would do in competition. Now, as you said, she hasn't been feeling well.
What an amazing...
But that was a great routine, though.
That's a
just
great finish. And she gets up with a grin and a wave to the crowd. Elena Shushanova, 18 years old from the Soviet Union, the best. Just the best.
The gentleman who is 25
We continue with the exhibition between the Russians and the United States, and we go to the rings, and Yuri Korolov, world champion. You saw him before on the high bar and in that special exhibition. And now to the rings.
Korolov is, again, probably the greatest competitor I've ever seen in this decade in men's gymnastics. He just does not miss routines. If you're competing against him and you're hoping that he's going to give some points up so you have a chance to sneak ahead of him, it's just not going to happen.
He's 25, Peter. Is that the right age?
Well, it's a little bit old, but he just refuses to give up. I mean, he won this competition against the USA. He was the #1 Soviet gymnast in the dual meet. Scored a 59.4. That averages out to exactly a 9.9 average. That was a beautiful dismount. He did a pole-twisting double leg.
Back with more coverage. The Russians and the United States. Gymnastics at its best. Now this message.
As a member of the
Korolev, at 25, he doesn't want to quit. There was a time he didn't want to get involved. He missed all kinds of practice sessions and everything as a young kid. There's Kathy Johnson from the '84 Olympic team.
Hello, everyone. As Mary Lou said earlier, being here in Pauley Pavilion bring back some wonderful and incredible memories. We're watching some of the finest gymnasts in the world. 4 years ago, my teammates and I did something that we will never, ever forget. It's forever etched in our minds and in our hearts. But time goes on, and gymnastics gets better and better, as you can see here today. So the next best thing to being there for me is having the pleasure of introducing the next young lady. She was a Pan American gold medalist, one-time national champion, and a teammate of mine at SCATS. And one of my dear friends, all my respect, please welcome on the floor exercise, Sabrina Marr.
Sabrina, 17, Huntington Beach.
Sabrina was the finest finisher for the USA in this dual meet series that we've had. She placed third all around and really looked very, very sharp. She's had some back problems in the past, and she's just handled it very well, and she looks great for 1988. Round off back handspring, double back flip for a mount. Now a little Born in the USA music. She's really looking like she's in great shape. She's really going to be prepared, I think, for the Olympic trials and the meets that are coming up. And we look at all the talent here, and we see that I think that the women's team will be very, very strong going into the games.
The coach is Don Peters, who will be the coach of the United States Olympic team, and the crowd responds with a very warm round of applause for 17-year-old Sabrina Marr.
Sabrina Marr from Skats.
Sabrina, you were the most consistent performer and the top performer for the USA for both men and women in the dual meet, and you look great here in the exhibition. How do you feel getting ready for 1988?
I feel great right now. I think I'm ahead of the schedule right now. I feel like I'm progressing very rapidly, and with this sort of practice mode, I'll be set in time for the Olympics.
What about your back? I know you've had problems with your back in the past. Is it bothering you now? Is it okay?
It has been recently. It was bad about 2 weeks before the competition, and I was undecided whether I was to compete or not. And fortunately, it got better the last week, so I just decided to come and throw the routines.
Belozerchev of the Soviet Union now goes to the high bar.
The comeback kid, 1984 Olympian Tim
This is the guy
Duggett.
that... Now there's Tim Duggett, who's going to be... Daggett with a bad leg is going to introduce a guy that broke 142 places.
At UCLA. I never get here anymore. I'm usually here about 3 times a day. No, it really felt great to come out here and do a pommel horse routine, because if you saw a little while back on ABC Wild Water Sports, the last time I had that rush of adrenaline, that excitement of competition, it was followed immediately by probably the worst thing in my life. And I bring that up because I draw a lot of my motivation and a lot of my spirit from the guy I get to introduce here. This is such an honor for me because he is known and respected throughout the gymnastics world as the premier gymnast for a lot of reasons. First of all, he won his first world title when he was 16 years old. That's pretty impressive right there. And secondly, because he had a major accident and had a major problem with his leg, a car accident that almost left him without a leg at all. And he came back in 1987 to be another world champion. It is my great pleasure and an honor for me, and who I am drawing my energy for Seoul, Korea, to introduce the greatest gymnast in the world, Dmitry Belozerchev.
I don't think you can say much more about that. Dmitry Belozerchev is certainly the #1 gymnast in the world, even after that tragic injury.
Belozerchev, as we told you, broke his leg 42 places. Doctors considered amputation.
Beautiful one-arm giant sequence. Look how extended he is. So one-arm flyaway half turn, perfect catch. He has just complete mastery of his skills. Beautiful reverse hack into immediate flyaway half turn. Now, as you know, he has this bad leg, and we put a softer mat down there. That's a great routine.
We'll be back with more. The Russians and the United States. Gymnastics from Pauley Pavilion right after this.
Event today, and Vidal, what really caused your interest in gymnastics and to get involved in such a great thing?
Well, Peter, I saw you on the guys, didn't I, in '84?
That's right.
And also Perestroika. I mean, it does make sense. It was a marvelous show today. the whole sense of, you know, the stretching, strengthening, and balance that gymnastics has, I think is so good for the mind and the body. And the more kids, when you hear that 1 million kids in the USSR are doing it, I mean, it's a tremendous amount.
Now, you've been involved with USA Gymnastics now for quite a long time, for 4 years, since 1984. Have you really... It seems to me that you have a new love for our sport, and that you've gone to so many events, whether it just be to see us performing in your own shows or just to come watch gymnastics. Do you have a new love for it now? Is it because of what we did then, or have you been involved in gymnastics when you were younger?
You should see the blue marks on my back just trying, you know. No, I was never into gymnastics when I was younger. I was into soccer. I loved it. But it's quite obvious to me that ballet and gymnastics just gives people that great sense of their own body, and I think this is what the kids should get into. It's important. Well, I think that's what kept me interested from '84.
You bet. Well, you know, corporate sponsorship is what really makes the difference in amateur athletics, and you have done more for our sport than so many other people have, and it just does so much for us to keep you people involved. We really appreciate that, and we want to thank you.
It's my pleasure, truly. Thank you.
It has been truly, I think, in all honesty, as we told you when it started, a most unique and certainly outstanding program. We hope we haven't gotten in the way too much of all of these outstanding gymnasts from the Soviet Union, and of course the hopefuls for the United States this Olympic year. Back on the floor now to the applause of the crowd, led by the Soviet women, the Soviet men, the United States women, the United States men. Flowers, an exchange to be made in that regard.
The United States Gymnastics Federation and Vidal Sassoon, thank you for coming. And we hope to see you again soon. But first, before we
Now they come together.
Have an extra special performance.
How about that?
Look at this. Backflips right in a row, all the way around the circle. This is great.
One more time.
Magnificent. Yeah, here they go again. Oops. One more time, I don't think was in the script.
No. Well, notice how Chip didn't do the backflip because he got to rest that leg, but look at this. Everybody right around in circles. This is fun.
And the crowd loves it. And why not? The world's best. And quite probably they'll all meet again in Seoul, Korea in the late summer. Appreciative crowd here at Pauley Pavilion, 1,000 strong. Pauley was the scene of the Great American Triumph at '84, and a fitting location, the Russians and the United States gymnasts to meet in this friendly exhibition.
That's really what international athletics is all about. There's Juliette McNamara just there.
Pretty girl with pretty flowers.
That's right.
We'll be back with more right after this.